how's it going, guys? I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for asking. Welcome to podcast number 2 of Plains People. This is June 24th of 2018. We're talking to Bill Lucas. Bill Lucas, if you guys have not met him, he taught at Fargo Public Schools for many, many years, and right now he's working in different plays. He'll be all over town on the stage. Just an all-around awesome guy. And I was really excited to talk to him. He's actually my drama teacher when I was in 9th grade. So he's, partly responsible for me being such a weirdo, maybe. Who knows? All right, so here's the conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And this is Bill Lucas on Plains People. No, it's fine.
I guess I'm not running for office. That's okay. Well, maybe I should.
It's so funny. So funny you said that. Let me tell you a funny joke my dad said, who's notoriously a horrible person. We're talking about our president, and he goes, "Damn Trump, he's so racist." And I looked at him and he goes, "Hey, I'm racist too, but at least I'm not running for president, or at least I'm not president."
Yeah, because my dad was racist. I mean, I love my dad, whatever, he passed away when I was 30.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, I grew up in Kentucky, and I'm sorry, my father was a racist.
Yeah.
But he would have probably said the same thing. But
I'm not running for office.
Well, it's like when Nixon was being, they were going to impeach him and kick him out of office. My dad was like, "I voted for Nixon. I don't care that he's a crook. At least I know he's a crook. It's the ones I don't know that are crooks I don't want my president."
Those quiet guys.
So it's like, if I know they're crooks, at least I know it. Okay.
You answered it before I could even ask it. So you grew up in Kentucky?
Yep, I grew up in northern Kentucky in a little county called Boone County. That's why Daniel Boone is so important.
Oh, wow.
So Boone County, Kentucky, and I lived there until I went to college in Marietta, Ohio.
It's such a stereotypical small county name, Boone County.
Oh, sure, Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
Right next to Simon Kenton. Simon Kenton and Daniel Boone, they were just amazing young men. And actually Simon Kenton, he was an amazing man because he thought he killed a guy. And that's why he took off running. He liked this girl and he thought he killed her boyfriend. So he went off in the woods for like 10 years and didn't know what happened.
Jeez.
And the only way I found that out was because our teacher made us read a book called The Frontiersman. If you ever get a chance, it's a great book.
It's a good one.
It's about Simon Kenton. Because growing up in Boone County, all we ever heard of was Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
But Simon Kenton did a lot more cool shit than Daniel Boone ever did.
Well, it's good to know.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny because I still remember the book was 721 damn pages long. And as a senior, it's like, I ain't reading that thing.
Yeah.
And then it started getting good, and so I read it. But he did some wicked shit.
Yeah, geez. I can't really go through. What are those books that aren't comic books? Those normal word books? I can't even work through them. I need my pictures.
I think it's called a novel.
A novel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really
well,
work through
that's okay. You and
much.
Trump got something in common.
Yeah.
Again,
but I'm not running for president.
Yeah, again.
So.
But I think he prefers more of a pop-up.
Yeah, a pop-up book. Or the ones that have the fold-outs. Yeah, he likes those fold-out books.
Well, probably not those because he can't try to pay them enough to get them into bed. So,
okay, I was going to try to maybe get to politics if we have the chance. We've already dabbled into it, so that's hilarious. But let's stick with, besides being a notorious racist, what else were your parents like? What did they do growing up?
My father was in World War II.
Okay.
He was...
oh, yeah, you're one of those boomers then.
Yep, he was a tail gunner. And he flew, I think it was 21 missions over Germany. And the Air Force troop he was in, that 21 bombing missions, only 70% came back every time.
Jeez.
And he came back every time.
So he was part of a 30%, 21 times? Jeez.
And we've got the flights on silk, not handkerchief, but...
Whatever.
Yeah, handkerchief, whatever.
Yeah, handkerchief,
and they wrote them in silk on where it was.
Wow.
Every flight, the date, what area they bombed. And my dad never once talked about the war. Never say a word. I heard the stories, the 3 stories I got from him from my mom, where when a plane was landing, they had to drop the bottom off of the plane. It was like a plexiglass something. And they were trying to land, it wouldn't drop off. It wouldn't drop off.
They landed with that thing hanging on.
Yeah, and when it landed, it was at night. They couldn't see, and the plane was going and stopped. And when they got out of the plane, the front was over a precipice, and it was that part that didn't come off.
So it's the part that was supposed to come off hooked and save them. Wow.
Yeah, and then one flight, my dad was a big golfer, loved to play golf. Mm-hmm. So they were based out of Scotland, and they would trade missions all the time. And so one night, my dad traded a mission because he wanted to play a round of golf in Scotland. And the guy, on the way back, the plane crashed into a tree, and the only person killed was the person sitting where my dad's tail gunner seat would have been.
Jeez.
So,
talk about all those weird butterfly effects that have all these dangerous missions.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even been born.
Wouldn't even have been around.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
And the third one, which
insane.
is my most amazing, is I still remember I was about 9 or 10 and we were cleaning out our garage, and I looked over and there was this painting, and it looked like a guy in a spacesuit hanging out of something, and there was a little yellow something that had Hamburg written on it.
Hamburg?
Hamburg. And so I said, Dad, what's this? Put it away. Doesn't matter. Ooh, my bad. So about 10 years later, I saw it again. I said, Mom, what was that? Well, my father was also an artist. He came back from the war with the GI Bill. He got his art degree. And so they were doing a bombing mission over Hamburg, and one of the bombs didn't fall. Jeez. And my dad went to the back to kick it loose, to kick it out of the plane so it didn't explode. When he kicked it loose, he slipped out of the plane and caught himself.
Oh my God.
And when he was about ready to fall, some guy grabbed him and pulled him back in the plane.
And that's what that was.
And that was his painting of it to try and deal with.
Oh my God. Yeah, dealing with trauma with painting, which I heard a lot of people after World War II
did.
Yeah,
it was. But so he dealt with that. And then my mom, she grew up during World War II also, the Depression and stuff also. She actually had a fiance that was killed over there, and she got back a letter from him that had gone through like 6 different places during the war, rerouted to him, and then it came back to her.
Go to France, go to this place, go to this place.
Killed. And then she ended up becoming a teacher, and they met, I don't know, when she was in her early 20s sometime.
Early 20s? Yeah, and you said you said earlier you were in your 30s when your dad passed?
Actually, my dad died twice.
Oh, wow.
When I was, once on my 30th birthday.
Yeah.
And once, what was it, March, April, May, 3 months later.
Jeez. Well, I'm surprised with all these stories that he only died twice, though. So.
I know. Well, I figured we could have done it more, and the reason was because we had no damn cell phones.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was, my dad was really in bad health from smoking. He had emphysema, and so he had been having problems, and I got a call. I was directing a play at Ben Franklin, and I got a call. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They called me up, and it was my sister, and she said, Billy. Also, if I say Billy, that's Kentucky. I become Billy as soon as I cross.
As soon as you get over to Kentucky, you're Billy?
Yeah, up here I'm Bill, Luke, Mr. Lucas, Jerkbag, whatever you want to call me.
Yeah, it was Jerkbag.
But so my sister called and said, Billy, we brought Dad to the hospital. He just passed away. I said, oh, okay, all right. And so I hung up, went back to my rehearsal, and said, guys, my dad just passed away. I'm going to head home. So that was about 4. About 9 o'clock that night, I get a call. Billy, Dad's alive. Like, what? Well, you got to think about this. Was the time with no cell phones.
Yeah.
They go in the hospital. Dad coded. Him and Mom had a thing on, we're not going to resuscitate him. Okay. So the doctor said, do you want it? And she goes, no. So as soon as my sister heard that, she's like, I got to tell Billy. I got to let Billy know that Dad's passed away.
She ran.
So she took off
and then
found his phone.
Beep, beep, beep.
And the doctor said, well, no, we don't mean he'd come back as a vegetable. We mean he'd be like he was before. She goes, well, of course do that.
Then why is that even an option?
Right.
Jump right on it.
So they did it. Well, then my sister came back, and she was so excited that my dad was dead, they never thought to call me. So I get the call, 9 o'clock that night, oh, by the way, Dad's alive. So that was freaky. And then in June, while I was teaching out at Trollwood, I had 2 classes, a 9 o'clock and a 10:30 class, and I got the call at 5 in the morning that my dad died.
Wow.
So I went to Trollwood and taught 2 classes, and then drove to Kentucky.
Did you call your sister, like...
Yeah. Are you sure? Is he really dead, or is it just kind of...
Did he leave the room right away
again?
Yeah.
Did you take a mirror to his mouth, whatever?
Oh, wow. So that was...
But that was when I was 30.
Okay, that was when you were 30. And then what brought you to this area?
There's 2 reasons a man moves.
Okay. Women and work.
There you go. See, everybody knows it.
Well, the 2 I moved for.
Exactly. Every time someone says, why you move, I just said there's 2 reasons. Yeah. I've never had someone miss it yet.
Well, honestly, I moved back from Seattle because of health reasons. I didn't have any, but that was the other one. But even when I say that, people go, because of health. Yeah. Like, well, I didn't have insurance, and I figured if I was going to be in massive pain, I should at least be by my family.
Right, exactly.
Because they didn't have insurance either.
Yeah, make them miserable too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I when I went to college, I met a young lady that was a senior when I was a freshman, and she talked me into going to a folk dance class.
Oh.
And it's like, I don't dance. I'm not.
She must have been good looking if you're going to be talking to a folk dance class.
Well, she was also a senior and I was a freshman.
Yeah, so you're going to listen.
Yeah, I'm telling my friend. Yeah, I was a senior tonight. Yeah, we were whatever. But so I thought I'm not. Well, I hate to dance, but I went with her anyway. And so, ended up 4 years later, I'm president of the folk dance club. I'm going to folk dance camps in the summer. Jeez. And I went to Foreman Row, in the 5th folk dance camp I went to. I met Tucker and Brianna's mom.
Okay.
And she was from Moorhead, Minnesota.
Yeah.
She was in a folk dance group there. The folk dance camp was in Moorhead, Kentucky.
So you're both in Moorhead.
Yeah, so that's where we met, and I'd met her for a week and a lot of dancing and just sparks flying. And after she went home, I had just finished my first full-time acting contract.
Yeah.
I had a 9-month contract, and I was getting ready to head to California, and I called her up and I said, you didn't happen to forget something like a fiance or a boyfriend during this week when we were talking?
Yeah, when you're not.
Yeah. And she said, no. I said, so you're not seeing him? She goes, no. I said, what do you think if I move up there? Sure, that'd be great.
Jeez, talk about a leap.
So yeah, I sold everything I owned, had an auction, and moved up here with a Monte Carlo, a $500 check, and a stereo.
Wow. Then I gotta rewind, because I wanted to get into what got you into performing. So I guess it was before you came up here then.
Yeah.
So were you performing in high school?
I was a star in high school.
Oh wow. We
weren't. Well, all we had were senior plays
in
Kentucky, and it was directed by an English teacher. I was a statue. Yes, I was a statue in my senior play, and I'm pretty proud of that.
That was back when you still had a full head of hair, though. So
yeah. But I still remember. It's like, I'm a statue in a goddamn play. So that was it. But then what got me to performing was I went to a small college to play football.
Statue.
Yeah.
So you weren't allowed to move, talk, anything?
No, I just was, and I was a football player statue, which was I don't remember. It was a weird show, but whatever. But I went to college. I went to a small college to play football. That's the only reason I went to college. I would have done something else. And there's a small college where they had you fill out interests. Mm-hmm. And then they pick your classes for you.
Weird.
And so it was cool because I thought the same thing, but then I got there as a freshman. I started football. I got there early because of football practice, and then my first meeting with my advisor happened to be the head of the theater department. And they had me signed up for 2 classes, and he was like, looked at me like, oh, you're a football player. Well, I get to practice. One of our captains is a theater major. Yeah. And another one does something else, and so I thought, well, this is cool. And so in the fall, I played football and took drama classes, but in the spring, I would do plays. Yeah. And then do drama classes along with everything else.
So you're switching football and plays.
Yeah. And so, so I started doing theater, and I fell in love with children's theater. I love performing, not with kids.
Yeah, I know.
Performing for kids. And that was my first job. After I graduated, my football coach had a teaching contract with a coaching job ready for me, and I was getting ready to sign the contract.
So there's your crossroads of coaching or plays.
Exactly. Well, I had it. I was going to sign the contract to coach and teach, and there were tryouts for a children's show. I'll try out for it. And I went and tried out, and they called me up, and they said, we can only give you the part-time gig, which is nights and weekends.
But it was a multiple gig though.
Yeah, but it would only been like maybe 3 or 4 shows a month. Oh, okay. Because the full time was every day, 2 shows a day, 5 days a week. Jeez. And I said to him, I got to be full time or I can't do it. I couldn't believe I said that, but I did. They called me back up and they said, we want to hire you. And I was like, shit, I didn't think they would hire me.
I was bumming.
Now I got to call my coach and say I'm not taking the job. And it was the brokest I've ever been, but the most fun. 9 months performing 10 shows a week. Jeez. 3 different shows.
10 shows a week.
Yeah, 2 a day. We would go to elementaries, middle schools, high schools, colleges, just all places and perform 3 different shows.
How old was right out of high school? Like 18, 19 was when you got this gig?
Oh, no. I was right at college.
Oh, right after college.
Yeah, I was 22. Yeah.
Okay, wow. And then this was a little bit before the folk dancing or around the same
time?
Well,
what happened was I did all the folk dance workshops in the summers during college. Yeah. And then I did the play, the professional theater for a year. And then that summer, because we finished up when school was over, that summer I went to the folk dance camp. It's going to be the last one I go to. Yeah. Because my buddy and I were going to go to California like every 22-year-old kid and become famous and rich and of course. Everything else. Yeah. So I go to this folk dance camp. I meet her. I'm like, shit. And then do I go to California with my buddy or like a hot chick? I come up and meet her. And so I know what theater is. Yeah. I don't know what could happen with her.
Yeah.
So I decided to move up here. And,
well, I mean, honestly, I would have taken that choice between the other hardest thing to pull off, which is Hollywood.
Except for the fact when you're a 20-year-old kid, you think you're... I mean, I thought I was all that in a bag of chips, and I was nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's surprising that a woman that was attractive even would look at me. I'm shocked at that, you know?
Well, but, you're shocked enough to travel all the way up here.
Yeah. And I've always done... I mean, I'm the baby of the family. Yeah. So no one would have thought I'd be the one to move. It's like, oh, Billy's going to stay home with mom and them dad.
Yeah.
You know, but my sister stayed home, my brother stayed home, and I'm the one that's been, you know, halfway around the world and done all kinds of weird shit. Yeah. I'm allowed to say shit, right? It's a podcast.
You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, we don't usually
care. You know what?
Care.
I told you to quit fucking cussing in front of me. It fucking annoys me. Because I know that you were thinking cussing fucking cuss words when I was teaching you. That's bullshit.
I always was. So I remember one of the first like actual conversations me and you had when you were still my teacher.
I don't, because I was doing cocaine at the time.
I can believe that.
It was being laced with heroin, but that's all right.
Yeah, well.
Okay, first time in a conversation.
Other than just teaching.
Right.
Because when I first started your class, I had a mohawk that was probably about 10 to 11 inches high.
I remember.
Yeah, I know you do. And you said to me, you're like, you know, the first day you walked in, I thought, what did I get myself into? And then turns out you're not the worst student ever. That was the first thing you...
Is that what I said?
Yeah, you
That's
said...
amazing.
You said you thought, what did I get myself into? And my first thought was, this is a theater, and this is the first mohawk you taught?
Yeah.
I feel bad about this school. They got to work on their punks.
No, I'm surprised I told you the truth. I normally lie to kids and act like I like them.
I assumed that was a lie to make me feel like you liked me.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
But all right, before we make it all about me, which it eventually will become... let's jump back. So, where are we now in the timeline? You just moved up here.
I just moved up here.
For your future lady.
Yep, my son Tucker and Brianna.
Yep.
Funny story about Tucker's name. We can do that later too. But
we'll get there.
I met their mother. Her name's Marie McDonald. Her father was actually a principal in the Fargo school system.
Wow.
And she, at the time when I met her, she was like a youth minister for St. Joseph's Church. And I just moved up here, had no job, had nothing.
Nothing.
And that was when gaming kind of first started.
Like, first started?
Yeah.
Back We're talking 1983,
84.
Yeah, I was going to say 4.
Well, and that's where I had to lie to get a job, because I had no job.
First jobs you always have to lie to
but for this, I've never dealt blackjack before. And so I was supposed to deal blackjack for my job. And they said, have you ever dealt blackjack? And I said, well, yeah, meaning with friends. I said, yeah, a little bit. And then they said, have you ever used a shoe? I didn't know what a shoe was. I said, no, we don't use a shoe where I dealt.
Yeah, no, we just, we go shoeless. We call it barefoot blackjack down there.
I didn't know what a shoe was. And then they said, well, you know, around here, even no matter how much you know, you have to go to class before you can deal. And inside I'm going, yeah, thank you. And I was like, well, you know, if I have to, all right, I'll do that first.
I'm already on the best.
And I was like, thank God. And so we had to have like 40 hours on the table of being taught. And our class, there were 5 of us, and seriously, all of us were really good, picked it up quick. We were done with everything they wanted in 20 hours.
Wow.
And so then they hired me to teach blackjack dealers.
Jeez.
So you
went from not knowing anything
to teaching blackjack in 20 some hours of doing, and same time I was dealing blackjack.
But I guess that happened with a lot of things you did because you were always a teacher. So you dabbled in football, then you almost coached,
and after I
blackjack taught it.
Yeah, right, and it is. If you're, you can learn skills, but it's just like some people are born salesperson.
Yeah.
They can sell anything. They understand sales. Well, I think if you're a teacher, I always said to people, they would always say, what do you teach? And I'd say, kids.
Yeah.
And they go, what? I'd say, I teach kids. And they say, what subject? I said, I use drama to teach kids. I use English to teach kids.
Yeah.
If I'd studied science, I'd use science to teach kids.
Yeah.
And the salesperson the same way. So football, that's why I think I enjoyed that. I coached that for 3 years at Ben Franklin and 3 years at Discovery, because it's teaching.
I didn't know you coached that at all, but that was probably way before I came in. Yeah. So I can't even remember who the coaches were. I was never really the sports guy. Yeah. Mostly because my mom could ever afford the $30, $40 pads or whatever to get into it. So I never really got. But it was me and 6 kids were tossing around footballs and tackling each other in the back, and none of those guys had enough money to actually play in the team.
Right. There you go.
But so it was like Sandlot, but none of us were. I don't know.
Probably had more fun.
Yeah, no, we had plenty of fun. Tackling somebody without pads is way better than with pads. I tell you.
Rugby. Rugby's the way to go.
Yeah. I watched that once at a bar, and I was like, how come no one watches that here? I got it. Totally enjoyed it.
They were playing rugby in a bar?
Yeah.
Were they like over the bar stools?
Yeah, yep. Wow, I see what you just did to what I said. In a TV, it was a television set that it was broadcasting something from another area.
Oh, so you watch rugby on TV in a bar?
Yeah, in a bar. All right.
That's okay. That's right. Glad you had someone as an English teacher. That's all right.
Well, it wasn't you.
I know.
No, it was Midgard. Ninth grade was Midgard.
He's probably the best teacher.
He is probably the best teacher I've ever had.
He's a cool guy.
And I had TAC too, but I still
Mr. Midgard, awesome.
Is
guy.
He's still?
Nope, he retired from teaching.
Did
about
he?
3 or 4 years ago.
Jeez, I remember when he was supposed to retire my first year.
Really?
And then it was further and further and further, and then when ninth grade moved over to North High, he followed. And I used to spend my free period going and bugging him every single day when I was in high school because he taught me how to tie a tie. I still tie ties. I still wear ties all the time. But he would wear one every day, even business casual Friday.
Yep.
But
my geometry teacher taught me how to tie a tie.
Really?
I think it must be a thing about teachers. I guess dads don't do that shit anymore.
No.
Whatever.
Well, I didn't really know mine. So
that's our problem.
My dad wore a tie for his first time ever at my wedding. So that's why he didn't teach me how to tie a tie. Okay. At his own wedding, he wore a sweater because there are sleeves, so it's fancy for him.
That's pretty snazzy. I'm thinking.
But all right. So where are we? So you're now teaching blackjack.
Teaching blackjack, and I was dealing for about 2 years, and we would literally. I mean, you talk about your brain getting fried. Because again, you don't add the numbers. It's almost like learning your times tables.
Yeah.
I'd see 2 cards and I'd know a number. I'd see it, and so you would do that 8-10 hours a day.
And it would be so monotonous because it's the same thing over and over and over again.
And so we would start at 4 in the afternoon, teach and be finished dealing by 1, and then all of us would go out and party till about 6.
Jesus.
And then we'd go to sleep. And then we get up at about 3 and get our clothes on and go back and deal.
Jeez,
that was about 2 years, and for a while, Tucker and Brianna's mom was also a dealer.
Wow.
And then
blackjack dealer.
Yeah, blackjack dealer. And then I just got so tired of that kind of life. I thought I got to try something else. So I I went and sold cars for a while, which I would never do again, but it was a great education. And then I applied for a job at St. Luke's Hospital, and they were going to give it to me. And they said, you're great for the job. And I think it was because it was working.
What was the job?
I was working in the psych ward.
Perfect.
Which is why I thought I was good for it.
Yeah.
But I also went and applied for the job at Ben Franklin. And they told me that they were going to put a 1-month freeze and then hire me at St. Luke's. And I went to Fargo Public Schools, and the next day they hired me.
Wow,
and
that's how desperate they were.
I wouldn't have gone except for that.
So what degree did you get from college in Kentucky then?
Depends on, from Marietta College in Ohio. Depends on what state I'm in. My teaching degree in Ohio, I have a triple major. Okay. Drama, speech, English. But if it's in other states, they put speech and drama together and English. So when I graduated, I had an education degree and a degree in speech and drama and a degree in English.
Okay, and so I'm glad you actually finally found a teaching, because wasting that on a freaking blackjack. But I'm sure you knew when you were getting into that it was temporary.
No, that was just because I wanted to pay bills, and I got married. Let's see, I moved up here in September of '82, and we got married in April of '83.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Talk about the fast track.
Yeah.
Like my lady wasn't comfortable with me sleeping over the full night until like month 2.
Yeah.
So.
That was pretty quick.
You weren't even dating until we were dating for 2 months.
Yeah.
So that was when she finally called me her boyfriend. You guys moved on fast.
Real fast. Yep.
Just from was your folk dancing that good? You could just folk dance it up.
Mine was. No, actually, she's a better folk dancer. I just was able to fake it pretty well.
Yeah, you use your charisma to get through everything.
Yeah. Well, it was funny when in college, when I was in charge of the folk dance group. I think she just wanted me to because I played football, so she could introduce a guy in folk dance. He's also a football player.
See, it's not weird.
But it was funny because there were 4 guys. A lot of the dances from different countries are always based in like 4 couples. And there was me in theater. There was another guy who was an economics major. One was petroleum engineering, and one was math.
See, yours makes more sense.
Well, but the funny part was is the way she would teach us, where I learned how to adjust her teaching. She would say to one, she'd say, Matt, I need you to move 10 steps this direction and then 10 steps that. So he would do it. And she'd tell the math guy, I need you to make a 45-degree angle and do that. She'd tell the petroleum engineering guy all these things, and she'd go, and my nickname was Kentucky in college. And she said, Kentucky, get from here to there. And that was it.
That was it.
And I just would move and go. And
so what you're saying is you adjust how you teach for the students, and you don't want them to adjust for you.
Exactly.
Period.
She adjusted for us. And that was the first time I ever saw a teacher adjust how you find out someone's learning style. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of one thing I took with me.
That's a good lesson too.
Do my best to try.
Yeah. And so when did you start at Ben?
I started at Ben in the fall of 84.
84.
Because Tucker was born April of 85.
Wow. 84. So that was that's actually the year my brother was born, was 85 too. So you started in 84. I just do, weird things. I mean, he's 4 years older, so Tucker had been 4 years older than me too then.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know we were that close in Ben.
Yep.
I thought he was already out of high school by the time I even stepped foot in Ben.
No, I don't think so.
No. But then again, I was a year behind, so we would have been 5 grades apart instead of 4 grades apart. Right. And my brother didn't even make it out of freshman year of high school. I don't think he did.
Brianna would have been a couple years ahead.
Brianna was with my sister, Maddie.
Okay.
We're in the same, because I remember Brianna, before I ever met you, I met her from going to like birthday parties and stuff with my sister. And then, just in and out of the theater stuff when I was in high school a little bit, oh, hey, there's Brianna Lucas.
Actually, she's now teaching theater in college at Arkansas State University.
Wow.
She's got her first job.
All the way out. I thought she was still in town. I guess not.
Nope. Wow. She went for grad school down in Virginia, and from grad school she went to Arkansas.
Wow, Arkansas. Or do they say Arkansas? I don't know.
No, they say Arkansas. I just always thought it was weird they would say it that way, but it's our English language. It's screwed up. We stole from every country in the world. We don't have our own language. We don't know. That's why I love when people say, you should speak English. No, that'd be British.
Yeah.
We speak a language that was stolen from every language in the world.
Well, that's the thing. We take pride in being a melting pot, but as soon as somebody acts proud of their culture, we're like, no.
That's right.
You have to share cultures, not be proud of your own.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I had somebody say one time that made a lot of sense to me was, we're not a melting pot, we're a tossed salad. And I think that is a better, because it is.
I like that.
I mean,
because people
we're still
don't melt.
a salad, so we're still Americans. But I just have no problem with people having their own thing.
Yeah.
And it's like everything else. Oh God, it's weird that why. I understand being afraid of something different. I mean, that's human nature.
Yeah.
You don't know something, you're afraid of it. It's whatever.
But you can always get to learn that thing.
But if you're not willing to try and learn it,
and
then once you learn it, I mean, I'm still afraid of ghosts. I don't care whether you know them or not. They scare the shit out of me because they always have axes. And how does a ghost hold a freaking axe?
I don't know.
They're nothing. It's just air, but they can hold that damn axe and chop you with it. Because if it was a ghost axe, it wouldn't hurt you. So who gives a shit?
So it's got to be a real axe.
It's got to be a real axe.
You guys have
that's
gloves
bullshit.
or something.
That's not fair.
Maybe it's the stick. Maybe it's just the head that's real.
No, I don't think the head's even real. I think because they got to hold it, and I don't think it's fair.
Okay. Before we're on go, we can talk about how horrible nationalism is later. Let's jump over to Ben Franklin. So how many years were you there? Because by the time I was out of high school, I think you were done there.
Okay, well, what happened was I taught for Fargo Schools 29 years. And so I started at Ben Franklin in 84.
Yeah.
And taught there around 12 years. And then Discovery opened.
Okay.
And so I went to, because I wanted to get out of theater for a while to take a break.
And so go where?
I went
English?
I went to Discovery to work in the ILC. Because I loved working with kids at risk.
Yeah.
And I did. And so in ILC, I had to teach almost every subject. But it wasn't teaching, more helping with it, and I really enjoyed that.
You got that one-on-one too, which is so much better.
But
and that's what I had a lot of classes like that.
Yeah. It was tough though. It was hard because, and it wasn't that the kids were that hard. It was that they'd been taught to believe that they couldn't do it, and so they found out that the easier was just say I don't know, and teachers would let it happen. Yeah. So and it's like, and that's why they get pissed off at me. It's like I said, no, you can do it.
There was something I remember thinking at a young age of when you don't know a word when you're reading out loud. Like let's say you're reading a chapter of whatever book. It is all the way back in whatever second grade. And if a kid gets to a word they don't know, whatever the word is, I remember there would be somebody who'd be like, they'll get to the word, let's just say principal. and they wouldn't be able to say it, and they'll stop, and the teacher would say principal,
Yep.
and then some people will jump right to the next word
Yeah.
and not even learn principal,
Yeah, exactly.
and other people would immediately say it. And I had one teacher in second grade who wouldn't let that happen, and I even remember thinking in second grade, like, yeah. We gotta learn that word
That's
that you
exactly
won't let
right.
us skip.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that, so then I always would repeat it, and then all the way up to high school, there would still be people who wouldn't repeat it, and I would think, like, come on, random English teacher.
That's right. Well, do you know what is the average wait time when a teacher asks a kid a question in class?
God, I don't know. What is the average?
How long will a teacher wait before?
5 seconds.
2.
2 seconds?
The average wait time in a teacher is 2 seconds. If the kid doesn't answer in 2 seconds, they move on to another student.
Wow.
Now, that was another where I changed my teaching style.
And I'm going to take more than 2 seconds just because I am.
To try to think of it. Right.
Yeah.
So what I did, and this didn't happen because I was at, Ben for that, and then I went to Discovery and worked one-on-one. Then I came back to Ben Franklin for another 6 or 7 years. And then through this time, I ended up getting divorced from Tucker and Brianna's mom.
Okay.
And the woman that I met and married, she wanted to live in Florida. So I moved to Florida and tried to teach down there. And this is the part that's where I get serious about teaching. I truly say I tried to teach because I went there and failed miserably.
Really?
I had a major breakdown.
Wow.
I couldn't take it. I lasted in the classroom maybe 3 weeks.
Jeez.
Terrible breakdown. I basically curled up,
Was
bawling
it
and crying.
what got you? Just new environment, or the kids can't be that different? They're still kids, right?
No, that's what I thought.
Oh wow.
I really did. I mean, I thought again, I felt pretty full of myself. I teach it, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometime when we have a podcast for 2 hours, it's nuts. I mean, the stuff that happened down there. I'll give you one.
Give me one.
And I'm not exaggerating at all. I'm teaching a 9th grade class that has kids that are 9th, 10th, and 11th in it, but it's 9th grade.
Yeah.
All right. A young lady walked into my class, and she's talking to 2 male students, and we're this close to each other. Mm-hmm. And I can tell the male's saying something to her, saying something, and she just says, "Jerry, why am I going to fuck you when I wouldn't even blow your boyfriend last night?" And I'm like, I really, did she just say that in front of me?
9th grade class, too.
And
Jeez.
I was like,
and also that's a good burn, too.
And I'm not, yeah, it was.
So you gotta give her that,
but
too.
You remember, I'm thinking Fargo, North Dakota, where I get pissed off if a kid said, "Dad, nabbit, damn, you go,"
Yeah.
I mean, and she just said it like regular conversation. Kids would come in and out at all times. Like I said, it could go forever, but those were some of the better kids. And the reading, the below reading level in my school was over 70%.
Jeez.
That were below reading level.
Wow.
The Fargo average is 8%.
Wow.
So it was just, so basically, like I said, I have no problem admitting it, because I said some of our biggest failures make our biggest successes. I failed miserably.
Leave it to the people who came up in that area who can do it, but you flipping over was just hard.
Well, there were 2 types of teachers there, and I'll just say it. Ones that didn't care. They would literally just walk in.
Yeah,
and
then ones who were...
And the other ones that were just so hardcore, they came out of the military and they'd just shoot you in the face, so it didn't matter. So I left there and came back, and I taught back at Ben. That's when I taught, and this is probably some of the stuff I'm happiest with, was Read 180.
Okay.
And that's a reading class based for kids that read below grade level but are not on any IEPs or anything. They're just quote-unquote normal students who read below grade level.
Yeah.
And once I saw what it was doing, I literally would talk to my kids and I would say, "Do you realize that you guys are the smartest kids in this school?" And they go, "No, we're not, we're failing."
Yeah,
I said, no.
Yeah.
You can't read. And they're like, well, I said, "You can't read. You've got to 8th grade and you can't read."
Yeah.
Guess what? When we get you reading up, and this program worked, and I busted my tail for 6 years, but I would have kids come back from high school going, "Miss Lucas, I'm on the honor roll. Miss Lucas, high school's simple." I said, "No, it's not. Because you read it simple."
Yeah, they've been chopping trees without an axe.
Yes.
And then you guys gave them an axe.
Exactly.
So they're going way better than the guys who had axes.
No, we gave them a chainsaw.
Yeah,
They had a chainsaw, but they never started it. So they were just trying to get it. I showed them how to start the damn chainsaw.
That's awesome.
And the coolest part, but that was where I did the wait time.
Mm-hmm.
What I did in my classroom, and I thought, you know what, this is more important than learning anything. So if I ask a kid a question, the only thing they could not say is, "I don't know."
Yeah.
They had to give me an answer.
Say anything.
They could say anything as long as it wasn't perverted. Like if I said, okay, we're dealing with this story about snakes. What type of snake was it?
And they say raccoon.
A French poodle!
Yeah.
And I would go, well, you know, it really wasn't. They'd all kind of snicker, and people think they're going to be that way. Guess what? They do that for about 2 or 3 days. As long as they don't get pissed at them, they do that. Well, then the fun part, though, was when I would say, you know, Mark, what do you think? And you wouldn't say anything. I'd sit there.
And just wait?
And I would just wait.
Yeah.
You want to talk about, I could wait out any kid. And the longest I checked on was I waited a minute and 10 seconds.
Kid, I'm being paid.
Yeah.
You're not.
It was a minute and 10 seconds. And he was sweating. He finally said something. And it was the wrong answer. But what I wanted to find out was giving any kind of an answer shows you're listening and you're trying. And after about a week of that, they knew they couldn't not answer. And if they didn't know the answer, say it and we'd make it work. It was amazing how things changed because what they'd been told before, I don't know the answer, move on. You know, Mark says, I don't know. Okay, Billy, what's the answer?
Yeah.
They wouldn't, it's like, Mark, you don't know? Really, why not?
Yeah.
What do you think it might be?
Are you thinking about something else? Why are you not
all
here?
that stuff.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to do it. And it was like, God, I wish I'd have learned that when I first started teaching.
I think you answered a couple of my questions without me even asking. Say craziest teaching moments. I think you already got some of those. You got any more? Craziest teaching moments.
Shit, I gotta remember. Think ones I can actually admit to.
or just crazy life moments that happen when you're in class, which you already kind of said one of them.
Yeah, I had actually one was kind of cool. It came from I'm probably the teacher that was called in the principal's office more than any students that I ever had.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you sent me to the principal's office less than any other teacher sent me.
Probably, because we hung out together.
Yeah.
We smoked crack together, Mark. What do you mean?
Yeah, there you go. You taught me how to do it. Exactly. The whole light bulb movement and everything.
We had to learn something. But it was, we just lost my lost.
Yeah, crack joke threw you off. Yeah, there you go. Trip down memory lane. You got to come back.
Mr. Gullickson. Name was Warren Gullickson.
Okay.
And when he wanted to see the office, it would always say, "See me, WG." I got so many damn "See me, WGs," and I'd walk in. He goes, "Lucas, did you?" "Yeah, I sure did." "Okay, whatever." But it was the first year I was there. I was directing a play, and down one of the hallways was this huge metal chain link gate, so that the kids couldn't get into the other part of the school.
Yeah.
All right, and so I always thought, play is for the kids. It's not for the parents, which that's another long story I could talk about. I'm so tired of all the fucking theater in Fargo North. It's like, let's have the parents involved. Parents, that's your job. No. Class, stay the fuck out of my theater, all right?
Yeah, let
the kids do the theater. So anyway, we did a play, and so we had the cast party in the school instead of, again, why spend $1 gazillion? Bring cupcakes, chips, pop. You know, I'll stay here. You guys get all wired. Well, we had a rolling wooden table kind of thing with all the mats stuck up because we used it for a fall. That was mine. Sorry.
That's all good.
We used it.
We put ours on silent, but
we used
whatever.
We used it for a fall.
Yeah.
In the show. So anyway, the kids. I was on the stage and they thought, let's push it up and down the hallways, and you know. So all of a sudden, I'm in there doing. The kids come. Mr. Lucas, what's wrong? Come and look. They had rammed it into the chain link fence and ripped it out of the wall of the hallway. I'm a new teacher.
Yeah.
I got two options.
First year.
Tell the principal, or try and fix it and never mention it again. So I went back in the shop.
Went with the ladder.
I went with the shop and I found anything I could. I pulled the plate off. I'm jamming stuff in there's a big hole in the wall. Anything I can jam in there, put the plate back over, screw it in, and then bring it, and the lock wasn't in right, so I just kind of put it in and made sure that I was there when school started the next day, when the custodian was there, to make sure it unlocked it and got it working. It's like, okay. Never once told him that.
Custodian's like, what are you waiting for? Nothing. Just keep doing your thing.
It's open. It's good. Okay. But yeah, I thought I was going to lose my job on that one. And then another fun one was teaching, the mythology. And,
cool.
And one thing with teachers that, actually we did the Odyssey. You guys remember the Odyssey? I had my students rewrite the play, and we videotaped it on the Comst.
Oh, that's cool.
And then for when Charybdis, the whirlpool, we took a bunch of action wrestling figures and flushed them down the toilet. That was Charybdis. But so...
it's a low budget there.
Oh, yeah. But we were doing some mythology, and there was a show. God, I can't remember the name of it, but it was Poseidon or something. But it was a mythological show. I watched the whole show, the whole damn show, except for the last 3 minutes when I went to get a soft drink.
Yeah,
so that was cool. So I take it to school. And I'm showing it to my 9th graders. We're loving everything's great. I'm sitting there watching.
So the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, the young lady climbs out of the pool.
Yeah.
She's bare ass naked.
I saw that coming. I was like, it's gonna be boobs.
And I'm sitting there. There was her butt. It was just all there. And I'm going, I've just lost my job. I'm just gonna get fired. And I swear I watched the whole thing. And so I shut off, and the kids were like, ugh. So I went into Mr. Golson. I said, Mr. Golson, I understand what you got to do, but here's what happened. I watched it this weekend to make sure it was fine. That last 3 minutes I didn't watch, and this is what happened. What are we going to do? He said, well, let's just wait and see if we get any phone calls. Never got a phone call.
But of course no one's going to go, I saw a butt, and be like, what? Yeah, so they don't want to rat on themselves for seeing a butt.
They never told, and I got away with it.
All right, believe it or not, we're doing pretty good on time. So let's move. We've been dealing with teaching a lot. I know you got a lot more stories. I have a lot more questions, but let's move over to performing.
Okay.
So you mentioned that your dad was an artist. Did that bring into you immediately going into something did that have anything to do with it?
My dad had nothing to do with anything I ever did.
Of expressing yourself, no. It wasn't like, he did it, I can?
No,
you
nothing.
just, it was
my dad's job was to go to work, come home, eat supper, and tell us no. That was all he had.
Well, that's about right.
That was it.
At least your dad came home.
Yeah, there you go. Now, my mom, what happened was she was an English teacher, and in Kentucky, English teachers did all the plays.
Yeah.
So from the time I was like 6 or 7, Mom directed the senior play.
So that
and I would sit there on the stage and I'd watch it. So she was
teaching and directing, which was two of the things you did forever.
And I never once thought I would do it. It just kind of seemed natural, and so I spent a lot of time, watching plays and doing that and there with her, because I was the youngest. We didn't do babysitters back then; you just took your kids with you.
Yeah.
And so I still remember where the kids would get mad at me. They were seniors because they'd forget their lines, and I'd give them their cue because I learned them from just sitting there.
Yeah.
And Mom, shut up! But they kind of liked me, so it was cool. But so my theater came from Mom.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Right.
And then. Juggling teaching and theater, how was that super difficult? Because I guess you can do for you
as a drama teacher
of trying to perform while you're teaching.
Okay, well that wasn't too bad because I didn't start performing full time until after Tucker and Brianna were out of school.
So you got parenting out of the way.
Yeah, no. And again, that was the one thing, and I really, it was a cool story. I've had quite a few kids that are really pretty sharp, but I had another student who came from a broken home. Tucker and Brianna divorced from their mom, but he gave me one of the biggest compliments because I always said to someone, I would have loved to have done theater full time. I would have, but I chose to have kids.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed teaching, and when I make that choice, they're mine for life. And I would have probably stayed with teaching anyway, but I taught and did that. And it was so cool because this was a kid who I had in 9th grade, and then as a senior, he came up to me and he said, Mr. Lucas, you know the neatest thing about you? I was like, no, I really didn't think there was much at all, And he said, you love your kids, and you let every one of us know that. I thought, that's awesome.
It's weird that he picked up on that.
Yeah, and it was, because again, I didn't talk about him a lot, but they knew. Another reason why people say, why'd you stick with middle school, junior high? Because I was done with my rehearsals at 5:30.
Yeah.
I wasn't staying in the theater until 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night when my kids were young. It's like, no, I want to be with them.
So you did did you direct anything now since you, other than kids, you've directed adults and everything? And it's all the same, they're all just still idiots who don't know their lines and just yell at them.
Yeah, actors are the same. And that's another reason why I started acting again. Yeah. Because as a director, you get so frustrated. And as actors, you get frustrated with the director, but you really don't understand acting until you direct. And the reason for that is when you're an actor, all you know is your viewpoint. If you're my director, you're telling me to do something, I may be hearing it, but I'm filtering it through all I know. But you know what you're hoping to see. And then I show you something else. So now you see two different things. I never knew that till I started directing. And so then I would tell an actor something, and then they would do something different. a lot of times it was better than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, but once I saw that, it's like, wow, it opened up the whole stage to me instead of being just focused as an actor.
Yeah.
But also what I've learned is if I'm an actor, I keep my mouth shut. I never say a word to another actor on stage. I never say a word to the director.
Yeah.
After rehearsal's over, I might go say, can I talk to him?
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. If I'm the director...
But you don't talk back or anything when you're acting. No.
I just
let them direct.
Yeah, I just tell them, you know, like if I'm a director and the first thing, if they try to help each other, I say, stop. I said, I'll help them. You worry about yours.
Yeah.
And then if you want to come and ask me a question afterwards.
Yeah.
But nothing infuriates me more as a director than to have actors try to help each other.
Second director that you didn't hire.
Because when I was a football coach, I coached 3 years at Penn and 3 years at Discovery. And when you coach middle school football, the parents are right next to you.
Yeah, and
that sucks.
Horrible.
All right,
yeah.
So I don't put what's up. I'm sitting there, I'm coaching, I'm calling plays, and this parent is just going nuts, and I'm getting pissed. Finally, this father says something. I just called, time out. Took my whistle off. I said, hey, buddy, you want to coach?
Yeah.
Get over here.
Yeah.
Here's the whistle. I'm done. And he got real quiet. I said, I'll take care of it from here. Put my whistle back on.
Yeah. Well, and that's another. I'm trying to remember what actor. I was listening to a podcast where somebody was talking to an actor, and the guy was saying the difference between writing or directing, like a movie, but the same thing as performances, and acting is. Directing a movie, it's you have a baby that you're trying to raise with a bunch of drunk uncles around.
Okay.
And then an actor is you're a drunk uncle who gets to hang out with a baby and then beat the crap out of it and then leave, and you don't, because an actor can do whatever he wants for that bit, and it's not actually as important to them as the director has to worry about everything. But also, you don't get to raise your child completely. You have to have those drunk uncles.
Yes, exactly.
And that makes directing just seem so.
Yeah. Directing is to me so hard because of the things you can't control. But along with the things that you're supposed to be able to control.
Yeah.
Like my favorite, and I would hear this every time, is when again, whether I work with elementary, middle school, high school, college, or adults, I've directed people as old as 85.
Yeah.
Okay? I have not had a show where someone didn't speak too softly. Okay? They just don't project enough. And I say it over and over again. I tell them, project and enunciate. I don't care how good of an actor you are, if the audience doesn't understand
they're not
it's no good.
Yeah, if De Niro's whispering, no one cares.
I swear to God, I've never done a show where someone hasn't come up and they said, Bill, I really enjoyed the show, but, do you think you can have those actors talk a little louder? And I'll, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. Thank you. It didn't cross my mind. It never crossed my mind to say, guys, can you speak up? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And some of them think I'm really serious, but I just, it is. I mean, I can't control once it's on stage. Yeah. Now, if I'm directing a movie, I can sweeten the sound, or I can do whatever.
You can do whatever you want.
But theater is just like a football game, except you can't stop and call timeout and call.
No, not at all.
It's like once they start, I can't
call a line at all.
And I can't do anything.
Well, I always think
what happens.
I thought of that of the few plays I did. Both of you guys have done a lot more plays than I have, but I don't remember seeing the director at all, except for like 2 seconds before the actual performance and 2 seconds after, because it's no longer him, it's me, which is probably super terrifying for you, because the whole time you'd be like, do you remember that? Know what I told you last week? Damn it!
Right, and what I tell my actors is also, and every director is different, but I tell my actors, once the last dress rehearsal's over, I tell them, guys, it's your shows now. It's not mine anymore. I'm not going to come in and give you more notes or change and get you all. It's like, it's your show. Now, the one thing, and I think they appreciate that, because I've had directors that would stay through a whole run and try and make changes.
Oh, after you already did one show?
But anyway, everybody's different. But here's the thing that I was taught, and I think it's true. A play is the actor's medium. TV is a writer's medium. And a movie is the director's medium.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You can see that, because the director can... I mean, you see a show that the actors did whatever, and if you actually saw them act, it probably wasn't very good. But the editor and the director made it look a lot better.
Can either fix it or just do whatever they want with it. You can take a performance of me talking about cheese, and an editor can make it talking about my dad's death.
Exactly.
They can just change it around.
Oh, they can.
Yeah.
And so that's the type of stuff. So that's why when someone gets Best Actor for a movie, I'm like, I would love to see their off takes on that, because it probably took 20 takes to get something. Like I did a commercial one time, for Laney's, and I did it in one take.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked around like, are we done?
Yeah, we got it.
And they, well, let's do one more just in case. And I never understood why they were upset. Well, I won't mention the athlete, but it was a silver medal athlete from North Dakota, boxer. I won't say who it was, but that person was doing the same commercial 2 weeks earlier. And it took them 42 takes.
Jesus.
And so again, once you got the good one, there was the good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, yeah, you've got to be pretty awesome when you are on stage because it is just you and the audience. Mm-hmm. There is no
you don't
lifeline.
Get takes.
There's no lifeline.
Well, then also you gotta
stop. I just forgot my line. Just a second.
Well, then also mistakes will happen too, so you got to learn how to do that.
Oh, I love it.
I've forgotten lines and ad-libbed a different line that worked, but at the same time, then one actor caught on and just kept going. Another actor was like, "Oh yeah, he didn't say the line though," and just froze him.
And that's what I like about live theater because weird things happen. And again, and it's part of if you know the show well enough, and you know what your character is supposed to do.
Yeah.
You'll get back to it. I mean, it's scary at times, but you just go with it. And for me, I'm sick that way. I love it when something goes wrong.
Because it's like, all right, guys, how are you gonna fix this?
Well, I was doing Dial M for Murder.
I watched it.
Did you see it when the door wouldn't open?
I don't know. I don't think I remember it. I went with my wife and her mom, and this was over in Island Park, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Trust me, you'd remembered because everybody reminds me it was either opening night or the second night, and that show's kind of.
It must not have been that.
But that show's kind of a serious show. I mean, it's not. I mean, there's some that whatever.
It's definitely not comedy.
Yeah. Well, right when I'm as Chief Inspector Hubbard getting ready to nail this sucker, all of a sudden, someone tries to get the door, and the door won't open. And that's the main door where he's got to end up to finish the whole scene, and it won't open. And so he goes over and he's going like this, he can't get it open. And I turn around and walk over and I. Well, sir, I think I'll exit through this kitchen if you don't mind. And I walked out, and then he left through the kitchen because he knew how to get the hell out of there.
He gave him. Hey, you came up with a new door. Hey, there's a door in the kitchen.
Yeah, there's a door in the kitchen. What is that? So I came in the front because I didn't come in. The door still wasn't ready. Yeah. So I acted like I came in through the front of the stage, which was a garden. I decided. So I came in that way. And then while the two of us are performing, all of a sudden you hear BAM. And one of the tech guys slammed the door open with his shoulder because it really had to be open because you remember how it ends with him opening and the lights on him and you're nailed. Well, we didn't have the door to happen, and so I'm still doing this here. BAM! I just kept going. He was like, ah! I thought it was fun. So
that's pretty good. No, I definitely didn't see that performance, but I did. I did go and watch it though. Yeah. So it was a fun show. Nice little show. Okay. So you retired, I think, a year after I was done. I think you retired. Or at least from Ben. You stopped teaching drama at Ben, and then I think I saw you again in high school subbing temporarily.
Yep. That's when I failed.
Okay.
I went to Florida,
and then
failed,
came
back, lived in a friend of mine's basement because I had no place to live.
Oh,
lived in a basement and I substitute taught for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I had.
I just remember your mood was so somber compared to like what you were when I was used to teaching, and I was asking, and we were just trying to bullshit, and you're like, it's just temporary, and you said it like 4 times. It's just temporary.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, you need a hug? I know it's illegal for me to hug you, but
well, you know what? I mean, it was so bad that I couldn't even go to a stop and go and see kids standing outside. I'd get the shakes. Mm-hmm. If I walked to a convenience store, I'd see kids, I'd get the shakes.
Wow, it was that bad.
Yeah, it was. And so the fact that I ever, I ended up going to see a psychiatrist and was diagnosed bipolar, and I do the meds. I went to therapy, and it did wonders for me, and I got back to teaching, and I think my last 6 years were very, very successful. So
you ran by that really quick. You got diagnosed as bipolar, and then you went back?
Yep. What happened was when I failed in Florida and just curled up in fetal position and had it, I thought, I only know people back here, so I came back here. I went to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And, she was awesome, and she was one of those that she wasn't cocky, but this was in September, and I said, I can't ever teach again. I can't even see kids.
And she said, we'll get you going.
She said, I'll have you teach them by March.
Wow. And did
I was
you?
Like, well, this is the funny part. After about a month with her, I thought, I could probably sub. I can go in for a day and go out, and go in and go out. In March of that year, a teacher left Discovery for a different job, and they called me in March to go take that reading job.
Wow.
And it was the same month she said I could teach, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And the kids in Read 180, they were kids that struggled, so they were some tough kids.
And you probably needed that class too, of that class that you felt a lot more important than just the guy who gets to hear those messed up things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So did she put you on a bunch of medication? Or?
Yeah, what I did is I'm still on it now. I take 3 meds. I take clonazepam, I take Zoloft, and I take Lamictal.
Jeez.
And
I just drink beer.
Yeah, and basically, and again, like I said, I know some people that have a hard time, but I just always say it's part of who I am.
I had no clue that you got any diagnosis like that, so you must hold it well, because I always thought that you were fine.
Right.
That's not fine.
Yeah,
but.
No. I think what it was, as I got older, I realized that I'd had it for such a long time, but I learned to deal with it, whereas on my highs, that's where most of the kids would see me at school, Mr. Lucas on a high, but when I would crash, it would be real low. Well, that's when you would go to see a doctor, and they would say, "Oh, you're depressed." I wasn't depressed.
You were just
bipolar. I was on my low. So anyway, there was an old drug they used to use. They still use something called lithium, which is a very dangerous drug because they have to really watch your blood and stuff and do some things with it. So when I was diagnosed, she said it's called Zoloft, very, very mild. It's it's like nothing for depression. And then she mixed that with Lamictal, and I think that's for helping to balance out the depression. And then the one that kind of scared me, but it's fine, was clonazepam, and it's a psychotropic.
Okay.
And so of those 3 together, it's a cocktail that basically, I still get sad when I'm sad. I'm happy, HAPPY when I'm happy, but I don't have...
Your lows aren't as low and your highs aren't as high.
And they don't come out of nowhere.
Okay.
I mean, it used to be like, I thought, and I started to look back in high school, I can remember driving to school, being as depressed as all get out, and 20 minutes later, it's like, oh, everything's great. It's like, where's this coming from? So now, if I get depressed, but I stay on my meds, and I know, again, people that don't do meds and still make it work, good for them.
Yeah,
people
if they can do it, they can do it.
Yeah, people that do meds, whatever. I've always just said, because I take a holistic approach to some things, and I take a medical approach to others, and I just figured use both of them. But all I know is that I couldn't even see middle school kids at a stop and go. And after working with her and doing the meds, I went back to a classroom.
Yeah,
So it's like,
that's not a normal thing, especially somebody who's been around kids for that long. Yeah. If you are afraid of kids, that's not a normal thing.
No. So again, that's what's, I really like the fact, I'm not happy that I'm bipolar, but I'm happy that I can talk about it, because it gave me something with students who are struggling. And I don't go around and meet someone and say, "Hey, I'm Bill Lucas, I'm bipolar." Yeah. But if a conversation comes up like this, I'm more than willing to talk about it, because being diagnosed and getting the proper medication and the proper therapy, other than the fact that I'm a doorknob, I think I've had a pretty successful life since then.
And also, you have to accept what you are if you're you want to throw denial on top of it. Right. That's not a good idea.
Exactly.
Besides that, did you have any other problems, heart problems, or other things like that, or is it usually
medical problems?
I think I heard
I had
something once.
I had a stroke on stage.
That's what it was. Yeah. I know I heard it was either a heart attack or a stroke story.
I was on stage on my 53rd birthday.
Jeez.
And doing a show.
And you had a stroke.
Doing a farce. And I had
so
a stroke on stage.
You just kept doing the same act over and over again. And so it was like, wait a second, what's going on with your brain?
What was funny, what happened was, actually I probably had a mini stroke the week before and didn't know it, because I kind of got fuzzy and my arm got numb, and I thought it was just a pinched nerve. Yeah. And so I kind of went off stage.
That would have scared me immediately.
And it started coming back. I was like, oh, it's probably that, but it felt weird. So then the next week, it was a Friday night, my birthday, and Tucker and Brianna were there to see the show. And it was about 2 minutes left before the first act was over. And all of a sudden, he's holding me, and I can't get words out of my mouth. And all of a sudden, my peripheral vision just goes. I can't see. And my arm goes like this. And again, I'm going, this is a really weird pinched nerve. Yeah. But I got my language back, and I said it. And then we walked off stage. I was like, what happened? What happened? I said, I think it's a pinched nerve. So I sat there. I did the second act. I had to hold a gun. Jeez. So I did the second act like this and going through it. And I still couldn't see out of this side. And so we got out of the show. I got in line to say thanks for coming. Tucker and Brandon came up and I said, guys, we got to go to the hospital. And so we got a quick picture, went to the hospital. They did a ultrasound, and this was clogged, this carotid artery, and pieces were breaking off and going into my brain, which was causing the problem.
Yeah.
And the reason why I lost the vision in my eye was a piece of cholesterol broke off and went towards my eye and exploded before it got to the optic nerve.
Good God.
So that'll never come back. So right now
Jeez.
I can't see here at all.
Wow.
But I can start seeing here. But the coolest thing was, for the last 6 years I've been doing plays, I couldn't remember lines. I couldn't memorize lines. I would get them and they'd really struggle. And I couldn't get it, and I felt, it's like, I'm not doing more shows because I can't remember simple lines.
And that's something that you've been doing your entire...
Yes.
Yeah, so
and,
that must just
and
really
so I
hit
felt
hard.
terrible. Well, so I've done about 4 shows since then. I really sucked, and I felt bad for the directors. Well, then this last show I did at FMCT, it was Calendar Girls, and I played a real small part, but it was the first time in 7 years, 7 years, I walked out on stage. I knew what everybody was doing. I knew my part.
It was
I knew
like
their
a crystallizing.
what happened was my brain, because this is still clogged. Something went wrong in this artery, so I'm only working on 3 out of 4. All right, this one's clogged. And I said, what happens if another one goes clogged? They said, we just won't talk about that. So this one's still clogged. But what happened is enough of the blood flow and stuff has changed and moved that my brain is actually almost working at full capacity again. So I understand lines. I can memorize
So
it.
when you did an M for Murder, was this during all that time when it was really hard to remember? Well, I had no clue.
Yeah, you know what? You want to hear the secret?
Sure, what? It was written on the guy in front of you?
No, it was written on my detective's book.
Really?
When I was taking all my notes, I
Oh,
was just flipping
wow.
page to page.
I didn't even catch that.
And again, no one would, because it fit my
And
character.
was the director saying, no, you can't do that?
No, he was basically the director.
Because you still did a good performance.
Well,
it's not like you were going
no. I mean, I knew
anything.
the show,
Yeah.
and I knew it was supposed to happen. So basically, it was so I was giving them their proper cues. I mean, so I wasn't doing this. I would just be acting notes, and I'd flip and act notes. But I had to have that because I just couldn't bring it out. Well, and it was the next show when all of a sudden the whole thing blossomed again. So now I can memorize again, which is really cool after 7 years.
That's awesome. And we're running out of time, and I want to do the note, and we got about 10, 13 minutes left.
Okay.
And I remember you bringing it up when I was, it was in high school. We were doing something with acting, and you were there. I can't remember what it was. And I heard this. Were you doing like corporate gigs? Were you like motivational stuff to get businesses together? And you still do that? Is that mostly what you're doing?
That's mostly what I do right now. Yeah, I just came back from Medora doing one, and basically what it is.
Those must be just super fun.
Oh,
It's
they're a
just
blast.
it's like team building, right?
That's the one word I won't let them use.
Oh, good God!
No,
Sorry.
No, seriously. Here's the deal. Because of all the years as a teacher, I took all the shit that I hated in those damn meetings they made us go to, and I do the opposite.
That's a good guy.
So. One, if I
So no more standardized testing.
Yeah, no, but I mean, when they come to one of my workshops, they never mention team building. I said, we're not doing that. There's no role playing. We don't do that. They have no overhead. There's no computer. There's no notes. There's no papers.
There's no bottom line.
It's just us.
Yeah.
And I get them up. I don't make them act. We do activities and basically do improv activities.
Yep.
But what happens is we'll do an activity for me to make a point. And I'll give you a quick example. And I've done this with businessmen in 3-piece business suits. I've done it on Sanibel Island, Florida.
So you get like
folks.
the CEOs with the
All
male guys and everything?
All of them, yeah. That's what I
awesome.
love the best, to get the most together. And so like there's one activity we play called the Scream Game. And in the Scream Game, everybody looks down the floor in a circle. I say 1, 2, 3. On 3 you look up. If you're looking at someone, they're looking directly at you, you get to scream. And you step out and sit down. Of course, the circle gets smaller and smaller, so you're down to 1 or 2 people. And they're all laughing and joking, and it's the opening when I do, because they just relax.
It's an icebreaker.
But then again, I say, okay, what? And then I go, then there's my lesson coming up. I said, so what'd you do? And oh, we screamed, we had fun. And I said, what did you have to do first? And they said, well, we had to look at each other. I said, now, here's your first secret. Scientifically proven that if you look at someone with full eye contact, you automatically become more intelligent in their eyes.
Wow.
I said, that's 1. 2, if you give eye contact to someone, they automatically think they're more important in your eyes. Yeah. So I said, I could have put 2 little eyeballs looking at each other on a picture and laughed at it.
Yeah.
But you played this game activity, it focused in. So I said, when you're talking to someone, I don't want you looking over their shoulder. I don't want you looking up here, because eye contact is so important. And so we do that activity, which teaches the lesson I want. And so that's my whole thing is I've got 15, 20, 30 activities. And it's funny, if I go to Bell State Bank, we do activities. If I go to a teacher's group, we're doing games. It's the same thing. But there is nothing but us doing stuff. There's no computer to go bad. I hate it when an instructor, they always go, the computer goes bad. Oh, I don't know anything about computers, so I don't know what we're going to do. Yeah. Don't use a fucking computer if you don't know anything about them. Yeah. You know, I hate that. So it's just me and the people. I know people. And it's soft skills. And people pay me way more money than I thought they would to do it.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, you could probably charge a lot for that kind of... And you're essentially doing the same thing you did for the... Not even throughout you did the same thing we did in the first day. Yeah. It's our opening drama class.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's what that was.
My workshops are basically the opening 3 weeks of my 9th grade drama. That's what they are.
And they pay you way more than we did.
I just got my biggest gig that I can't believe that I got it, but I'll say this. When I do only for the Red Hawks all summer long, I make about $1,500. Okay? Yeah. This last gig that I did, I made more than that, and I worked for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a little
higher than minimum wage. Yeah, it's a little.
But then again, I also, though, do them for free.
Yeah.
Because what happens is I say, this is my rate, what's your budget? Unless it's corporate. Like Rape Abuse Crisis Center, I go in there for free.
Yeah.
A public school I won't, because they have money for that stuff. You know? But if it's a true nonprofit, I make the money on the other one, so I can do a freebie for them.
Yeah, and why not?
And I love it. And
I bet you have fun doing them. They're not work.
Oh, no, we have a blast. We laugh. I don't tell a single joke, and we laugh our butts off. Yeah. It's hilarious. It's funny. And it's like being a rock star, because if I do a workshop more than once for someone, you know how if you go to see a band that you love and they don't play that one song you like, you get pissed? Well, they do. If I don't do one of the activities that they liked so much... Yeah. You didn't do that. It was like, I try and change it up a little bit, you know.
We're doing improv, but we didn't do the question game.
Oh, exactly. That's it. You know, the one they like the most is what are you doing? They love that one. If I don't do it, they get pissed. So I do it.
That's a good one. And then let's just chat for another couple minutes. So, you mostly been doing that since you got done with retirement. What do you do just for fun? You watch movies, TV? You follow all
I do a lot of reading. I've been doing a lot of plays. I've performed more than I ever performed
in the last couple years.
In the last few years, I've been in about 5 plays.
Jeez.
My day is like this, which is awesome, because people say, "What do you do since you retired?" I say, "Whatever I want." Yeah. But basically, I don't set an alarm. Yep. Unless I have a workshop.
That sounds amazing.
So whenever I wake up, I go to my office, which is Moxie Java in Moorhead.
Yep.
So if you hear I'm at my office, come to Moxie Java. I get a coffee. They know what coffee I get. They set it out there for me. They get the same thing every time. That's awesome. I take the newspaper and read it by the fireplace.
Are they going to start charging you rent?
No, because I tip them real well.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a good tipper. And so then I go from the fireplace up to the back where my computer's set up. I spend about 2 hours just winking around on the computer, and then I go home and decide what my day's gonna be.
My sister's got a restaurant up in Fort Ransom, and I've been working out there on the weekends because I work at American Crystal Sugar, and I took this summer off. I've been going nonstop for 6 years. I want to take a summer off. Sure. I've been enjoying it, and so I'm going out there to make extra money, just serving all day for like Thursdays, Fridays, and most of Saturday. But anyways, I've noticed how retired more than half that town's retired people.
Okay, sure.
Retired people are teenagers.
Oh yeah.
I'm not. They're loitering constantly. They're inappropriate because they don't care anymore.
They don't care anymore. What are you gonna do?
And they're just like, and it's like you guys are like, I have to shoo them off the porch when it's like, guys.
You want to know the best day when you're retired, or the best time of the week? Sunday night.
Yeah.
I love Sunday night.
Why?
Because I'm not getting up for work on Monday like everybody else.
Better go to sleep early. Wait, I don't have
exactly. I look on Facebook and they're going, Sunday night, the weekend's over. And I used to always type, what's a weekend?
Yeah.
Just I love those. It's a beautiful thing.
I had a guy, boss, who I hope I can get on this podcast one day, who worked at the factory for 40 years. So worked his way up before automation, all the way through automation.
Sure.
Crazy stories I bet that guy can say. And he doesn't work there anymore, so he can legally say them now.
Oh, yeah.
So that's even better. But the joke he made at his little small retirement gig that our shift happened to be on, so we snuck over and stole cake and then got back to our work. And he made the joke of, there's 2 things you need working when you retire, and it's your wife and your car. was the joke he made. So you don't have to worry about spending any money on a car, and she's still making money.
Well, there you go. Well, I don't have a wife. I do have a car and a motorcycle.
Yeah, and a motorcycle. Good. So you got your motorcycle and your car working, so it's kind of the same. You just traded the life for the motorcycle. Yeah, because the motorcycle
is like a gasoline-powered vibrator. So,
so it works. Who needs women?
Yeah, I just ride on it and I shake, and they rattle around, and I'm like, whoa! I think I had sex. I'm not sure.
What are you doing on the motorcycle? Stimulated? What are you guys doing?
On the motorcycle, smiling.
Yeah. Where are you driving? Till completion?
Yes, exactly.
All right, I think this was a good talk. I think we did pretty good. I'm gonna call it. I don't know. I'm good.
I saw him write something, and if it's important, if Billy writes it, it's important.
No.
So
no, he doesn't write anything.
Well, then I guess Billy doesn't matter.
He's like toupee is what he wrote. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Kidding. Great talk. This was awesome.
Thank you.
I really wish we could have gone more because I feel like we barely got to taste.
I didn't even tell you how I buried a bulldozer in the Ohio River one night.
Yeah, well, you can't legally say that story, but
though the girls were of age. We had to get the side of the river plowed so we could have a party that night with a few young ladies. And
there you go.
Let's just say the bulldozer went into the Ohio River and we had to pull it out with 2 giant tractors.
Jesus. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, that does sound like a good story.
We're not talking the red. The red's a pussy river.
The red's
We're talking Ohio.
Ohio.
You go look at the Ohio River. It's hard to bury a bulldozer in there.
I'm used to small rivers, so red scares me just because it's actually have a current compared to ones you can walk across.
The red's a creek. What the fuck it is. I
moved
up here.
This is a good conversation, and I'll talk to you later. I think it was a good one.
Sounds like a plan, buddy. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Okay, there was my conversation with Bill Lucas. Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. He's a pretty good guy, and I thought it was a pretty good conversation. And so next week I'm going to be talking to the guy who was actually my best man, Billy. He's getting out of town, so I wanted to get a nice conversation with him. So he's not a teacher or business owner. This is literally just my best friend, and we're just going to sit down and have a conversation, and I hope you guys listen to it. I promise you it's a good one. So talk to you guys later. Watch out for Scary Terry, and have a good week. And remember, another Fallout game comes out in a couple months, so calm down. Talk to you guys later.